One more minute. Oh, time's up. Okay, thank you, Lord, for another opportunity to sit down in front of people and talk. Please give me your own words and help me not be afraid to do what you've called me to really do. Prepare hearts and give us the courage to receive the word that you have for us. In Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. So, again, so this is the second Wednesday in January. Actually, let me take that back. This is the second Wednesday in 2018. Hi, Babatoons. I'm so excited. There's so many guys here, and I love it. But last year I did How to Be Single, which was open to guys and babes. And this year I'm doing A Woman's Wealth, which is primarily for women, but I feel like it's not only for women. So guys, please, you can stick around. Tito, don't run away yet. And I've been saying that the idea of it is kind of like me figuring out how to set goals and, stuff like that for the new year. I've been saying that it's for me to set goals and stuff, and as I'm bumbling through it, learning about finance, learning about setting goals, learning about achieving things and stuff like that, and that I'm doing this on Instagram Live and in public so that people can keep me accountable. And as I'm learning, I hope that you guys will learn as well. So I actually want it to be both ways. So for instance, if you're like me and you've had years where you said, this year I'm going to read more books, or this year I'm going to save more money, and it never happened, maybe if you join me on that journey, then we can learn as well. But I found that today I feel like God was saying to me, and again, everything I do is about my faith, so my faith comes up all the time, and that has been another huge struggle, because I could understand how to put my faith, I could understand where my faith fits in. I'm so glad you're feeling me, Tito. I can understand where my faith fits in when it came to relationships, but it's harder to then say, okay, I'm talking about A Woman's Wealth and all aspects of life, and then start talking about faith with that. I felt like I had to make this more official, make this more formal, and kind of separate it. Don't worry, this year, 2018 is your year, Tito. 2018 is your year. So I got this idea of A Woman's Wealth basically because I was learning about financial literacy, and I realized that I've been going to these seminars, reading these books, hearing these things, watching Instagram live people, and it's not sinking in, and it's almost as if I've not learned how to take it from the theory to the practical. And how do you do the practical? You just start one day now. Like, even if you don't become the best at saving or the best at investing or whatever, you still shall move. And so that's the idea of A Woman's Wealth. But then the thing that started to bug me, hi David, the thing that started to bug me was that I feel like God was really nudging me. Like I said, my faith is the foundation of everything I say, do, think, wear, everything. It's as if God started to tell me that I was trying to separate this thing from God. Like, it's almost as if I thought about this cool idea of how to set goals on the internet, and I would do it without God, or I would do it without God in front of Instagram. Then I'll now go back and be praying. And God was like, the foundation of this whole thing is that it's God who sent me to do this work in the first place. So there's no separating God from this. So I said, okay, do you know what, God, give me a verse that talks about A Woman's Wealth. And God gave me the scariest thing, the scariest verse. The scariest verse. The scariest verse. I'm saying it like this because the thing is, I'm catching fever thinking about it. So anybody who has Bible, anybody who has ears, I'll read it out. The scariest verse in the Bible in 2018 for a woman who's woke and hardworking and all of that stuff is 1 Peter 3. Okay, 1 Peter 3. The annoying thing is that the Bible I'm using, it starts with that backward word there is wives. Up here it says wives, and I remember thinking to myself, but what if not everyone is a wife? What if not everyone wants to get married? Then God is like, excuse me, why are you going back on your word? You just did How to Be Single. And for anyone who joined How to Be Single, the whole idea was you're learning how to be single, how to be a better person single, or even if you're technically single in a relationship but still not married, but with the forward-thinking idea of you're going to get married. So it's not the thing of I don't need no man. It's not the thing of I can do right all by myself. It's not the sexually promiscuous type of how to be single. It wasn't any of that. It was just how to become a better person, so that your mind is in the right place, your thoughts are in the right place, your attitude is in the right place, and you can be a better person. Because you cannot be a good wife if you're not a good person. You cannot be a good mother if you're not a good person. So if you're not a good friend, if you're not a good colleague, if you don't know how to take instruction from your bosses, if you quit a job every time something annoying happens, if you don't know how to discipline yourself, if you eat everything that's in front of you, if you there are certain character traits that you need to deal with as a human being, and that is how to be single. So how to be single was kind of like how to be as a human being. And the key verse for that was James 1:4 that says, let patience do its perfect work so that you can be whole, perfect and complete, lacking nothing. So that was kind of like the key thing about how to be single, is that we are perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Tito, yeah, you think so? Radio, please give me hearts if you believe that I should be doing the radio. Maybe I get a radio gig of this, or a podcast, right? Well, I guess I'm doing Instagram Live, so that's working. But yeah, so the whole idea is that as a single person, you are whole, you are perfect and complete, and you lack nothing. But what happens is that we have different parts of our lives that we're not taking care of. So let's say you have a whole fruit, a whole orange, but it still has many different sections in it. And in our lives, we have many different sections in our lives. So there's your friendship, there's your health, there's your fitness, there's your family, there is your finances, there is your spending habits, like all of these things. I promise you guys, God is switching this up on me right now, because I did not know, like literally I'm just like, so it's almost like a woman's wealth is a continuation of how to be single, because how to be single was talking about being whole, perfect and complete, lacking nothing. And now God is trying to teach me that a whole orange has many different sections, and in that section there are all these things. And what did we say about a woman's wealth? So we're trying to create, let me even open it up here. God is the funniest. Legitimately the funniest. Hi Teresa, hi Pastor James in Chicago. All right, hi the Itty Bitty Company. Thank you guys for joining me. So what did I say? When I was talking about orange lomo, when I was talking about hi Arese, I said a woman's wealth is exploring the idea of a woman's wealth holistically. I didn't use that word, but here we go. Holistically. So I said finance, mentally, spiritually, relationally, emotionally, physically. There's also career, there's business, there's humanitarian goals. There are all kinds of things that we are trying to deal with. And I realized that for a lot of people, especially single people, but also for everybody, I'm not really trying to be funny about it. Sometimes if you ask, like, what do you want? All you want is money and marriage, or you want money and sex, or you want money and love. Do you know what I mean? But it kind of comes to the same thing. But the thing is that we then prioritize either going to get money or going to get love, or saying, okay, once we get those two things, then we are sorted. But we forget that we are a whole fruit, and a whole fruit has many different sections. Sorry, my mind is just gently being blown. Hi, Miss Abiz. Thanks for joining. Okay. So it's almost as if God is saying that a whole person is made up of different aspects. But for most of us, we don't live whole. So we don't know how to set goals for anything. We don't know how to commit to any goal we set. So for instance, how many times have y'all said, I'm going on a diet? And then somebody served a slice of yummy chocolate cake. And you were like, man, YOLO, life is too short, might as well eat the cake. And then later, you're wondering, like, why can't you fit into your clothes? Because you didn't make the commitment. You didn't stick to it. And God is trying to teach me that commitment cuts across everything. If you don't commit to saving, you won't have savings at the end of the year. If you don't commit to learning new skills, you will not have new skills at the end of the year. If in your career you want to get promoted, but you spend your time complaining and whining, at the end of the year, you're not going to have achieved anything. Hi, Uniquely Yeti. Thanks for joining. And God is like, so how to be single was how to be as a human being, how to be whole, perfect and complete, lacking nothing, have the right mindsets, have the right all of that. Okay, fine, so we have a foundation. But speaking to women specifically, and like I said again, men can learn from it, but I can only speak to women when it comes to like the emotional parts. Everything else I guess can work with for both, but when I'm talking about the emotional part, like, or how women are emotional eaters or emotional spenders, and you know, all that kind of stuff, like it's all intertwined. But God is trying to, it's like, let's deal with this, a woman's wealth. What is a woman's wealth? The trigger for this for me was finances, because financing is the weakest part of my life. It's like I don't know what money is. I don't know what money is for. Money is for spending, or for saving and suffering, or money is for dreaming that one day I'll be rich. But money is not for having in my bank account. Like, I've even come to the place where I've said, maybe God doesn't want me to be rich. God just wants to bless my husband and he will be rich. And it's like, okay, so until you have that husband, what are you going to spend? What are you going to do with your life? Like, how are you going to live? Like, what's this husband thing? Especially if you realize that how to be single is being whole on your own and not needing anyone to complete you. So where are you going to get money from? Like, how are you going to live? Oh, hi Adashe. Yeah, that's it. Welcome. Okay, so I'm still giving this kind of brief like, I feel like literally God just flipped the script on what a woman's wealth is, and God is trying to make me invite him into this fully, wholly and completely, lacking nothing. So the verse that God gave me that I really feel like is our guiding verse, like I said, is a very, very scary verse. I almost don't want to read it out loud because it is very controversial. It's 1 Peter 3, and it says, in the same way, do you know what? I'm just going to read this. Let me not be afraid. In the same way, you wives must accept the authority of your husbands. Then, even if some refuse to obey the good news, your godly lives will speak to them without any words. They will be won over by observing your pure and reverent lives. Don't be concerned about the outward beauty of fancy hairstyles, expensive jewelry, or beautiful clothes. You should clothe yourselves instead with the beauty that comes from within. Nifesimi, you are wrong for that. You are wrong for that. I'm sorry. She's interrupting my Bible reading. Don't be concerned about the outward beauty of fancy hairstyles, expensive jewelry, or beautiful clothes. You should clothe yourselves instead with the beauty that comes from within. The unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is so precious to God. This is how the holy women of old made themselves beautiful. They put their trust in God and accepted the authority of their husbands. For instance, Sarah obeyed her husband, Abraham, and called him her master. You are her daughters when you do what is right without fear of what your husbands might do. The other version of that I think I prefer is, so sorry guys, just 1 second. The verse I think I prefer is verse 6, 1 Peter 3, verse 6, that says, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, and you are her children, if you do good and do not fear anything that is frightening. That last bit in verse 6, you are her children if you do good and do not fear anything that is frightening. Adashe, I will add you in a minute. Actually, you know what, let me just add you right now, and then we'll get to the chat part later. How do I do this? View, go live. Yeah. So someone's going to join me right now, but I'm going to keep talking for a while because she's going to kind of start us off with the finance bit. Hi.
Hello.
I'm quite ready. Don't worry, you can kind of stay incognito for a second if you'd like. Let me just round up my preaching section.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Fantastic. Yeah. So the reason why I said, even this last verse, this 1 Peter 3 verse 6, that says, if you do good and do not fear anything that is frightening. Remember, I said that this verse to me is like the scariest verse because I was asking God for a verse for a woman's wealth. And it feels like God is saying, this is a verse for a woman's wealth. And I was like, but this is really annoying because basically it's as if God is saying, this is what a woman needs to attain. And it's like, how is that what a woman needs to attain? Pastor James in Chicago says, a gentle and quiet spirit. Wow. But the truth is, even me that I'm talking, I don't have a gentle and quiet spirit. I mean, I have it in the name of Jesus, but I don't have a gentle and quiet spirit. Like, I'm quite gra sometimes. Like, this thing just looks like it's not realistic. And to base a whole woman's identity on that is really scary, especially because it starts with talking to wives. And I know obviously the immediate reaction is, but I'm not somebody's wife, so why does this apply to me if I'm not somebody's wife? And I feel like then God led me to Genesis. Actually, do you know what, Adashe? I'll add you back in a minute, just so that it's clear. Does that make sense? I'll just cut this up. Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So she's gonna come right back. So I feel like I'm being distracted, but sidebar, Adashe is, I'm still getting the pronunciation wrong, but she does financial consulting for women. So I found that very, very specific and very perfect for this project. And I've asked her to come and join me today to talk about basic financial tips, basically like whatever it is, basic stuff. So for instance, saving money, tracking your spending, learning to invest, living on a budget. But if you guys have any questions for her, you can start thinking about it and writing it down. But she's going to come on live soon, and then we'll have that chat with her. And I feel like I'm going to, anyway, I'll continue to update you on how we're going to keep doing this thing. But because it's the second Wednesday in 2018, I know that some of us may not have yet recovered from Christmas. We may still be broke, all of that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's great. Hi, Rolla. I feel like it's great for us to start. And hi, Okwe. I feel like it's great for us to start with financial tips so that we can start doing that, because financial tips, your financial habits kind of build up over the year. And at the end of the year, then you can kind of look back and say, which month did you do well? Which month did you not do so well? And then we can talk about investing and all that other stuff. But like I said, the point of a woman's wealth is not even the money, because there's that verse that says, do not let your adorning be external, braiding of hair, putting on of gold or jewelry or the clothing you wear. And for me, that also includes having money to floss, your designer bag, your shoes, being able to buy whatever hair you want, being able to travel anytime you want. That financial independence that a lot of women really desire, we should not let that be the source of our adorning, of our beauty, of our wealth. Yeah, but as I was saying, sorry, I'm just going to say this really quickly, because I feel like this was a very, like I said, very scary verse, very scary passage, because who said it here? Somebody said it perfectly. Hi, Miss Simike. Teresa says, he who finds a wife, you are a wife before you are found. You are a wife before you are found. And I thank you so much for sharing that, because that is the underlying thing about this. I remember at some point last year, I was looking for the word woman, and I was looking for the etymology, like the origin of the word woman. What does it mean? What does it mean to be a woman? Hi, Kenny Rema. Okay, you can watch it later. It'll be up. It will be up. The word woman and the word wife, there was no difference. I don't know how to explain it. It was almost as if, uniquely yet, basically there's more to wealth than finances. Absolutely, absolutely. I was looking for the etymology of woman. So basically, what does the word mean? And the meaning I got, what I kept seeing that kept showing up was the word wife. And it was like, what does that even mean? Why is that the definition? And then God took me to Genesis when man was created, and it says, man and woman made he them. So basically, when God made man, he made man and woman. So man had woman in him the whole time, but it was only man who was expressing. And after a while, God is like, you know what, this guy is not quite doing it right. Like, it's not yet time. Let him sleep. Let me bring out his helper. So the first time a woman ever appeared in the Bible, she was a wife. So the word woman and wife are kind of linked together. Again, I said this is kind of controversial and very hard for me, because I've had to wrap my mind around it, and it's quite a painful reality. So it means that the word wife is not, there's a purpose to being a woman. And that even if you don't have a physical husband, for instance, we are all the bride of Christ, men and women, we are all the bride of Christ. So there's always a husband. And that's something that is very uncomfortable, to put it mildly, to wrap our minds around. But there's always a husband figure. But then even if that husband figure is only Jesus, there is a characteristic that we're supposed to have as a result of that. Yeah. And as if God is trying to say that the wealth of a woman is not in amassing wealth, finances, or amassing skills, or amassing any of these things that we've put in our goals for 2018, but it is more about the heart state. Now, when it says a gentle and quiet spirit, I was like, look, Lord, this is just an quiet spirit. Me and you, I don't know if we have it yet. But I feel like the whole idea is developing good character. So for some people, gentle and quiet looks like bold and confident, but it is staying true to who God has made you to be and who God has called you to be. So obviously, if God has called you to be a politician and to be in government, then you're going to have your gentle and quiet is going to look a little different from if you were called to be a housewife. But the whole thing is that that's the goal that you're trying to achieve, because you're trying to, what did it say? Which in God's sight is very precious. We're trying to be precious to God because God is the ultimate husband. But it just means that beyond the word wife and about marriage in the conventional way that really annoys a lot of us, the idea of a wife is a title. It's almost like the idea of a man is a title. It's like a man is called, with man comes the seed, comes the ability to father. It is a role and a responsibility. It's a job description. The word wife is a role and a responsibility and a job description, and it is not dependent on a husband. You don't need a husband to be a wife. I hope someone cuts that from somewhere. You don't need a husband to be a wife. This is not about game. This is not about looking for boo. This is not about 2018 hashtag I must enter my husband's house. This is not about that. This is about a character, and you don't need a husband. You don't need a physical husband in order to be a wife. So basically, a woman's wealth is about developing the right character as a woman, understanding what that means, getting rid of the old ideas that have really annoyed us and kind of set us back, and kind of, doing it God's way. Okay, so I've talked a lot. It is now 7:26. We're going to start with setting financial goals. Thank you, Pastor James in Chicago. We're going to start with setting financial goals, because there are practical aspects to this thing. Kind of say gentle and quiet spirits. A woman needs to know how to handle money, because quite frankly, if we're not relying on our father, we're not relying on our husband, then we rely on ourselves. But then what if you don't know the right ideas? Look, there are many women who are hustling hard, working hard. They have businesses, they have work, they're earning a lot of money, but what they're spending it on? A new bag, Ashwebi, and trips abroad and hair. Some women are very wise. They're saving, they're investing, they're starting businesses. They are kind of like, they're actually able to amass wealth. But for most women, we just want to hammer so that we can prove that we don't need no man to hammer. But there is a mindset to money. And I think it's time for me to invite Adashe. I don't know that much about finances. So I'm going to invite my friend to join me now. If you have any questions about finances, please let's start talking about it. There's a blog link, there's an email address, awomanswealth@gmail.com. You can ask questions, you can DM me, you can DM Adashe, and then we can talk extensively about financing beyond what we can do in like the next 30 minutes or so. But I just want her to kind of give an overview from a professional's perspective, because if I start talking now, it will be like another preaching. So I'm gonna, what am I looking for? Yes, I have invited her to join. I feel like this is like a two-part. Hi, okay, yes.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. Do you want to say a little about yourself, what you do, why they should listen to you talk about money?
Okay, fantastic. Hi, everyone. So my name is Tolu. I'm a financial consultant with Adashe, as she has, told you. Sorry, the screen is distracting me, so I'm trying to find a way to. Okay,
can you kind of move to the right? Maybe you'll be more, because I don't know why Instagram is doing this crazy thing.
I'm trying not to. Yeah, trying not to, have to hold. Okay, forgive me.
No, it's fine.
But yeah. So my name is Tolu. I'm a financial consultant with Adashe, and we're a firm that's focus. Our focus is helping to build the knowledge gap between women and their money. So yeah, we've heard Omotayo talk about how a woman's wealth isn't just about money, which we totally agree with. However, I mean, to do most of the things that we need to do in the physical here, we do require money. So we'll talk about a few sort of tips around, getting your finances right. So just quickly, if anyone has any questions, so just look at it as an opportunity to ask a financial expert any questions that you might have. So please feel free to put them in the comments, and I will take them as we go. So what are the basics? What you need to do? Wealth covers sort of every area of your life, and we encourage women to do wealth planning. Now, wealth planning, involves planning around your finances, your investments, savings, making plans around insurance, making plans around legacy, things that you'd like to leave, and whatever else it is that you want to do as a person. Yes, Adashe is based in Lagos, but we're a financial technology company, so most of our business is done over the phone and the internet. Yes, so that for convenience, so wherever you are, we can attend to you.
Makes sense.
So I was saying, sorry, can you say that again?
No, I just said it makes sense. Like that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, sorry that it's dark. Let me see if I can find somewhere brighter. No, it doesn't seem like it's working. Okay, so
you kind of face the light instead of backing the light, and it helps.
Face the light.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you go.
But then I have to hold. Okay, all right.
Oh,
no worries. I won't complain. Okay then. So basic savings. People find it difficult to put it down. Yeah. Saving. But the first thing that I always say to people is, just like the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. There's a reason for that. So before you start anything, I think that the first thing you need to do is put it down, put it in writing. First of all, you achieve something. There are things at the back of your mind that you might want to achieve, that you might be thinking of, or even just dreams, things that where you want to be, a year from now, a few months from now, what you want to achieve with whatever it is that you have. It's at the back of your mind. But when you start to think about writing it down, you bring it to the forefront, and then you write it down. And then that serves as a reminder for you. It's there, and it's easier to then work a plan once you've written it down. You can make a plan and then, work it. So our first, advice to women is write it down. Whatever it is that you're thinking, always write it down. So the second tip that I'll share is sometimes it's difficult to save by yourself. Sometimes it's difficult to know what to put money in. Are you making the right decisions? Is this smart? Is this stupid? Someone said to me once, if you think the price of education is a lot, try ignorance. Because what you refuse to pay to be educated on now, come back in a year and you look back and the price of ignorance would definitely be more than what you should have paid for the education. Now, education can be this kind of forum. You're listening, you're trying to, grab what you can about finances, about, even if it's one thing that you live with, you've learned something today. Read books. If you find free workshops, seminars, on finances, telling you how to put things together with your money or as regards your money, please attend. Make time, what you spend your time doing will yield results at some point. It might be one thing that you get out of it, but it's important that you do. Now, another thing that we always encourage is that seek professional help. You wouldn't go to a mechanic workshop with your car and act like what's going on there. Hi, Debola. So if you're going to sorry, I got distracted. So if you're going to do something right, then by all means, if you don't know what to do, if you need help, then seek help and try and get it. Okay, so that's another tip. And then something else that's very important is there's strength in numbers. If there's something that you cannot do by yourself, right? Try and, I don't know how many people know about investment clubs, but they're like the easiest, fastest way to get into, investments, savings, and collaborations. So you're saving monthly. What you save, you're investing as a group. You're sharing the risk, and then you're learning. You see, education again, financial education. You cannot. It's not overpriced. Trust me. So every month when you meet with your club members, you guys have to decide what to invest in, options that are out there. You're learning as you do that. And then in your personal life, in your personal space, you find that it's hope that you'll be making better financial decisions for yourself. So I mean, collaborations, very, very helpful. Even the Bible says iron sharpeneth iron. The things that where you have areas of strength in one area, someone else might, those sort of things. And at the end of the day, it all comes together for your good. Yeah. So does anyone have any questions right now, or should I just keep rambling?
So I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
Please, if you guys have questions, please type them. But even if we can't answer all the questions, like we'll definitely do DMs. But please type questions. We're not trying to do like a one-directional thing. So I was going to ask, when you said it's difficult to save, is that for women specifically, do you think, or is that for like everybody?
Truthfully, it's difficult to save for everybody because it's not something. I mean, I heard that these days they're trying to put a bit of savings and what's it called in children or in students as they go. There's a bit more what's it called attention in to that area. However, it's difficult for everyone. I'd rather spend the money than put it aside. You know what I mean? But the truth is, once you start, you find that you're very excited to see it grow, especially if you're making the right decisions, and then that sort of encourages you to continue. So I think it's not specific to women, but then it's harder for women because traditionally in this part of the world, I can't speak for any other part of the world, the men are raised to know that they are responsible for their families financially. So somewhere at the back of their minds, they're told, look, you're going to have to, man up. You're going to have to make money and take care of your family. And from very early on, they start to put money together or look to, save. Whereas the woman isn't sort of raised in that manner. So she has to go out of her way to acquire those skills that she needs. So, things like a woman's wealth, things like what Adashe is doing, I think they're very timely and, really needed right now. I hope that answers your question. I see a few more questions here, and I'm going to try and someone said Olutimi
numero uno. I love that name.
All right, top investment tips. I think I just shared some of them. Maybe savings. Investment tips. Number one tip is get professional help. Number two, educate yourself. Get educated. Do as much as you can to get information, education, and help. Those are the first two things that you need to do. Where would be a good place to start investing? You need to have money to invest. So savings will be number one. Like I said, my first recommendation usually is investment clubs because it affords you, an opportunity to save, at the same time invest, at the same time get educated. So I think that's a very good place to start. Now, I'd be careful with what I say because finances are very personal. So where you are, the stage where you are as a person might be different from the next person. So a good place for you to start might not be a good place for the next person to start. But these are just general, sort of answers to the question. How can I multiply my money aside from business investment?
I feel like you're covering your mouthpiece. Are you covering your mouthpiece?
No, I'm not.
Okay, yes, no. You just moved your hand. Yes, it's better now. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So how can I multiply my money aside from business? I was saying investments. Again, get professional help if you don't know what to do. But investments can be tricky. You don't want to get it wrong, but it's pretty easy once you get sort of like a hang of it. So what's the difference between bonds and stocks, and which one is better investment? Okay. The first part of the question. So bonds are debt instruments. Now I'll explain it in simple terms. Usually, I'll use Nigeria. The major bonds that we have are federal government bonds and corporate bonds. Now, it's where it's like an IOU. So the government has a budget for the year, and they need something trillion billion naira, to carry out the things on the budget or in the budget, right? So they say, okay, so if we sell oil, and this is how much we're going to make from that. However, we still have a deficit. There's a part of it that we will not be able to fund from the money that we get from taxes, selling oil, and all the other things that we have in Nigeria. So let's go to the public and try and raise money. So they come out to, you and I on the street and say, well, for bonds, it's not really you and I, it's institutional, because the minimum subscription for that is 100 million. I'll come back to that. However, so it means they've come out and they've said, we need to borrow money. So can you guys borrow us money? We'll pay you with interest at this rate, at this time. Usually 5, 10, 20, 30 years, it's for funding longer term projects by the government. Now it's bonds are considered very safe investments because, well, federal government bonds, because it's a sovereign authority that's issuing it. And the belief is that as long as there's a Nigeria, as long as
the country exists.
Yes, you're going to be paid.
Yeah.
That's the risk is very minimal. It's next to almost, the safest thing you can put your money in. Now I also said
entry point is really high, obviously, because you just said like 100 million.
Yes. So now the next thing is that that they introduced something recently called the savings bond, which is supposed to be targeted at the retail guys. And I think the minimum to go into that one is 1,000 naira. They're shorter term, so 2 to 3 years, but you need to just speak to your stockbroker about investing in that. Actually, there's one going on right now. They do it once a month. For 1 week, they open the books and you can subscribe in that period once a month for about a week. So that's for bonds. Now, stocks. Stocks are... so, you know how I said companies... when people want to raise money, government, companies, so I mean, stocks are I'm thinking of the easiest way to say
the same complicated way, then we'll backtrack.
Okay, so that's ownership in a company, really. So there's let's see, USC, the shares are 100%. Some people own a portion of it, and then they decide to come to the public and say, you want to be a part of the company. So you say, okay, let me give you money to get a certain portion of your company, to own a portion of your company.
Right.
So those are stocks. Which one is the better investment? It depends on you. I said something earlier. What works for Mr. A doesn't necessarily work for Mr. B. It depends on where you are, what stage you are at in your life, in your finances. So I can't say which one is the better investment. So stocks are usually for people with a longer view, you can't, unless you're a trader, you really shouldn't go into stocks unless you're looking to hold for quite a while. 1 year, 2 years, it's up to you. So I think I've answered that one.
Yeah, you have.
Someone says, please, what business can one do or invest in 2018? Unfortunately, that's not, what we do here at Adashe. We don't tell you what business to do or what business to invest in. Yes, I did see your question. Sorry about that. I'm just getting to it. Unfortunately, we do not or cannot tell you what business to invest in. We're sort of here to, like I said, very knowledge-based, information-based. Yes. Okay, so someone says stocks are probably a bit more risky than bonds. Yes, very. Bonds are next to not risky, as in that's like, the safest thing you can do in terms of investments. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, fantastic. Yeah. So yes.
So can we talk to you?
You're right. Yes.
Can we talk to you? Can we DM you about
yes, you can.
Or do we have to find somebody else to talk to?
But you can, I mean, feel free anytime. You can send us DMs. You can visit the website, see what we're about. If you have any questions, there are ways to contact us on the website. And I mean, yeah, you can reach us anytime. Send us questions. We'll be very happy to, answer you.
Okay. And then another question. So these investment clubs, is it like, can me and 5 of my friends just come together and say, okay, we want to invest and then do it ourselves? Or is there like a structured way to start an investment club?
Well, yes and no. So yes, you can come together and decide that you want to do that. But it will be best, like I said, if you had knowledge, professional help, or if one of you or more of you, more than one person, was at least investment or finance savvy,
right?
So that you're not walking in blind.
Right.
One of the things that we do at Adashe is that we help you set it up. So the 5 of you come to us, we'll help you set it up, and then we'll guide you and whatnot for a small fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. All right.
Yes, you're welcome, Pastor James in Chicago.
Yes, thank you. Okay, cool. So, do you have any more tips for us? Should we try to round up? I feel like you have so much information for us. I feel like people should definitely reach out to Adashe. I feel like investment club sounds. This is now me. I'm taking my own away. I hope all of you had. I was writing. I feel like the easiest thing for me, well, maybe not the easiest, but the thing that makes so much sense for me is this investment club idea. It sounds really great. Also, these savings bonds, because I'm like, 1K. Like, I'm going to go and find all the finance people I know and sit them down and talk to them about it to find out exactly how it works, like what it's about. And please, you can always reach out to her, Adashe_NG. We will call you back again. All this for the small fee is great because I actually believe in paying people for their work. But as much as we can extract from you on this Instagram live, we will be trying to extract it.
No worries, that's fine. We're very happy to do that.
Okay, cool. Do you have any more tips to share before we kind of round up for today?
Yes, just quickly. You mentioned that you were going to go and talk to all the finance people that you knew about savings bond. It might not be right for you.
Right.
Yes, because like I said, it depends on where you are. There might be something else so let me give an example. A mother or a father who has school fees to pay in a couple of months, weeks, shouldn't go and put their money in savings bond because the minimum term is 2 years. You can do mutual funds instead. You can do something else instead. So you have to make sure that whatever investment option that you're taking is right for you.
Right. Okay.
At that point in time, it might be right for you later, but maybe not right now. Do you see what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that basically there's no one way to do this money thing. In fact, sometimes you may need, if you do like a savings bond and it's 2 years, it means that money you're not planning to use it till 2021.
Fantastic. It's locked up. Yeah.
So
and
maybe
the secondary market is not very active right now, so you might not be able to sell it off if you needed to.
Right. So it's like if you're saying, okay, in 2 years I want to have money to buy a new car, or I want to be able to put a down payment in a house, then you can do something like savings bonds because you have long-term goals. But if your goal is like by April, maybe not April,
you need to pay rent.
You
need to do something. Yeah.
Then
maybe you shouldn't do that right now. You should do that afterward, when you're able to. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But then, so if you have those kinds of short-term goals, is there really any investment thing that can give you any turnaround?
Yes, there are a lot. Yes, there are a lot.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why I say it's very important for you to speak. I always say speak to a professional. The price of education is cheap. Trust me.
Right.
Speak to a professional. Let someone who's in that field work with you to ensure that you're making the right decisions for you and your money.
Right. So sorry, before you go, because now this is getting sweeter to me. What kind of short-term investment things are there that you can just throw out, and then we can ask you more detailed questions later?
Try mutual funds.
Okay.
So they're benchmarked, or they're money market instruments, and they offer the same returns as government instruments.
Oh, okay.
So treasury bills, bonds, money well, maybe not bonds, money market instruments. So
Right.
I mean, and then they're more fungible. You can get out of it easier than
Right.
the other sort of investment options.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. So thank you so much. We will definitely do this again. There's no way. Like, we have to. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so please contact Adashe_NG. She has a lot to say and to help us with. And again, for a small fee, I really 100% believe in paying for something because then you value it more. But to whatever degree you can give discounts, assist us. We're just starting on this journey. Please help us. But thank you so much. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely. No worries. Thank you. It was my pleasure.
You're welcome. All right.
Okay.
So I'm
All
just
right.
going to take you off the chat now so that you don't have this awkward two things. And then
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All
Tolu.
right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Royalty Fashion House. I don't even remember what the last thing was. We talked about mutual funds for short-term investments. Some banks do mutual funds. There are brands that do mutual funds. I mean, nobody's sponsoring me, so I can say mutual fund I know is ARM. I know that First Bank has, I know Stanbic has. I know that there are many banks that do mutual funds. So I guess you can just talk to anybody in the bank. You can call the customer service. If they don't answer you, shout at them. But yeah, okay, so fantastic. I am so pleased. I am very excited. And I love a few of the things she said, because like I said, I was writing notes. When she said, first of all, she said, always write it down. Okay, yeah, mutual funds, okay. I kind of just touched on that. Always write it down. So when you have a financial goal, since we're starting with finances, always write it down. But I find that applies to everything as well. Always write down all your goals. Because if you don't kind of like commit to writing it, you won't be able to kind of be accountable to it. The other thing is that it's always difficult to save a loan. I love that because I find that if I don't have somebody, so for instance, when I learned to start saving, my friend who told me about it was because she asked me if I wanted to go on a holiday with her, and I was like, I don't have money. And she was like, hey, you don't have money today, but you will have money by then. And I was like, really? How do you do this? And she was like, I keep 50K aside, or I keep 30K aside, whatever. Before you know it, if the trip is supposed to cost you 250K, all you need is, say it's 5 months, okay, no problem. But then in the middle of it, maybe you can spend a little less, you cut down on something because now you have a goal that you're saving toward. But that I had a goal, one, written down, but I also had somebody else who was checking up on me and saying, yeah, how far this month did you save your money? The next thing is professional help, because obviously everything she's told us, she's a professional. She knows she works with finance, and she's trying to help women bridge the gap between our financial, knowledge, and just all of that stuff. And then she said there's strength in numbers. So I like the idea of investment club because, like I said again, I like working with people. So if I'm trying to do something by myself, I'm more likely to give up. But if 5 of us said, okay, do you know what, we're doing this, once it's money, you will not be doing friendship. You just be like, okay, guys, we're friends. Okay, it's time. Let's do this. Let's come together and do this. And I love the fact that she said that Adashe actually helps people put investment clubs together. So you and 2 friends who want to start saving or invest a bit more this year, you can come together, send her a DM, or reach out to her and just start an investment club. And there are many different entry levels. Wow, I'm very excited. So we're able to do 2 things today. Number one, the awkward one of the word. Well, not really that awkward, but for me, it's quite a hard word to hear about this context of we are wives even when we're not married, because it's about character building. And I find that even if you're a housewife, you're getting an allowance. Even if all you do is you make hay, there's some money coming in. And if you don't have the financial literacy, you'll be living from hand to mouth. But if you have financial literacy, if you can save 1K, 2K against 2 years, it means in 2 years you won't have to be looking for where you're going to find Gary to drink. Do you know what I mean? It's that long-term mentality of looking at money as a tool and something that can grow, not something that you have to eat and finish fast. And for me, that's really crucial, and that applies to every other area of our lives as well. We have to have that long-term goal. So if you respect somebody today, then it means that you can build a good reputation with them for 5 years, rather than, I can't take that. There's character goals, there's mental goals, there's building skills, there's reading more books, there's exercising, there's dieting, there is, being nicer to people, because people are your wealth as well. So if you can't build good friendships, then you've lost a major part of this wealth that we're talking about. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. I'm so glad that we could get somebody who was professional to come and talk, that it wasn't just me ranting. Hi Tineke, you joined late, but you joined again, or did you join before? But yeah, okay. So I'm going to rush off now. Thank you guys for joining. I will save this video, and I will also, I think I'll also record it and I'll put it on the blog, so that we can keep it, so that you can watch it later. I'm not going to do that thing I did with How to Be Single. I'll put this one on the blog relatively immediately before it expires. All right, thanks so much, guys. Against next week, okay, homework, please. Against next week, find a couple of people you can be accountable to. Yes, please follow adashe.ng to stay updated. Against next week, homework, find a couple of people you can join an investment club with, people you can save money with, or do a draw, or any kind of investment thing. Find a group of people who you can set goals together. Find them, write it down, please. I have a journal. Find people that you can be accountable to, who you can join a financial club with, or make an investment club with. Sorry, I think I'm using the wrong terminology. There's also, I have more homework. Sorry, guys. We only have 4 minutes left. I'm going to rush to put this in. Write down your goals. If you haven't written your goals down yet, please write them down. Please write them down. Financial, mental, everything is on the blog. The blog page is on my bio, awomanswealth.blogspot.com. Now, just with a few general things, if you're setting exercise goals, there are YouTube videos. There's an app called the 7-minute app. You can use that. 7 minutes. There's no reason for you not to have 7 minutes in a day. Finance goals, like we just said, we're just giving you your homework. If you have spiritual goals, you can set a timer to pray for 5 minutes. You can just do 5 minutes, like in the middle of your walk break. Just set a timer and take a walk. Go to the bathroom and sit down and just pray for 5 minutes. But yeah, we'll do more tips and we'll do more of that. But again, next week, just find a few people that you can do this investment club thing with, people you can save money together with and things like that. You can set goals with, they can keep you accountable, and write down all your goals. And next week, I think it'll be next week. I mean, if it's not next week, it'll be the upper week. Let's kind of share our goals and share how we've been doing so far. I have to admit, I haven't been on top of my goals in this week, but I'm going to try harder between now and next week. I have a fresh ginger. I'm very excited, and I have people that are keeping me accountable with my personal goals as well. One of my friends today was like, have you done this? I was like, excuse me, can you leave me alone? But it was good to have someone remind me that I wasn't doing what I said I was going to do, basically. But yeah, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all were able to learn something, and I will see you again. I will first see you on the blog. There is going to be a YouTube page, but all of that's going on the blog, and there's there's stuff, it's all there. It will be on the link in my bio. Thank you, guys. See you later.